in over 70 countries to perform essential cleft care in their local communities. Learn how Smile Train is helping the cleft lip and palate community at smiletrain.org/learn. Smile Train, changing the world one smile at a time.
Are you in need of a dependable electrical contractor and not sure where to start? Look no further than Wade Electric. In December and January, Wade Electric offers up to 30% savings on accent lighting, panel changes, and other select services. Take advantage of the opportunity to save big on much-needed upgrades to your home or business. Let Wade Electric help you save by calling 405-329-1940 today.
Live from the Buffalo Wild Wings studios, it's time to get locked into the best Sooner recruiting and football news with Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Hit the guys up on the Riverwind Casino call-in line at 405-329-9000 or text the show on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line at 405-651-3439.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
Oh, man, I'm hurting today. That hurt last night. That was not fun. That was not good for the soul. I'm hurt, and I don't hurt easily, Grayson Singleton. OU loses a heartbreaker last night to Texas A&M 80-78 at the LNC. Bryson Goodine was unbelievable in the first half, especially in the first 10, 11 minutes of that basketball game. Season best 34 points in 27 minutes. Not enough because OU blows an 18-point lead down the stretch. They lose by 2 to Texas A&M. Gosh. I do have better stories today that'll put you in a better mood or make you a little bit happier, a little bit more uplifting. We're not going to dwell on this basketball loss for the entire hour. But sup, everyone. I announced less than a week ago that, not going to do this hour anymore moving forward. Just a heads up. And here I am doing this hour the next 2 days with Grayson Singleton. So Grayson Singleton, yes. Parker Thune, no. You got me, Tyler McComas, for the next hour today and tomorrow. So what's up, man?
How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. This is just normal. Did a little 4 hours today. No big deal. This is back to being normal here for the next couple of days. I'm all right. That loss just that stunk last night. You know,
Oklahoma went the last 8 minutes of the game with only 2 field goals. Bryson Goodine took his last shot outside of 8 minutes. How do you got a dude that's scoring 34 points and you can't get him another shot? I know A&M did a good job plastering him and making sure he didn't catch it, but how do you not get the guy another shot?
When he got 34 points, it's not like, Goodine, he normally really doesn't give us anything, and he's hit 2 or 3 threes tonight. He's shooting it well. The dude was unconscious last night.
You couldn't get him another shot. That's wild.
That's one of those where whatever your game plan was offensively, it's
abandon it.
Let's just make sure we're not going to get this every night from Bryson Goodine. Let's not waste it. Let's make sure that we get a night like this from this guy, give him ample opportunities, and make sure that we come out of this game with a win.
And Tyler, it's not as if they abandoned Bryson Goodine to go to something else that was working. They went to Jeremiah Fears and Duke Miles trying to split 3 defenders in the paint.
Just not. It's a bad loss last night. I don't know any other way to say it.
Really bad.
You had the 18-point lead like you did in the second half. Texas A&M, as we know, is out not only one of their best players. I didn't realize how high Wade Taylor was in the all-time A&M leading scorer list.
No,
they were out one of their best scorers in program history, essentially.
And Wade's development has been interesting. He and I played against each other 2 years in middle school, actually.
Did you dominate him?
It was a back and forth between us. No, I did not dominate him.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I was big. I was bigger than him at that point, but actually probably still am because he's a shorter guy. Look, the fact that you gave up 80 points and as many points in the second half as you did with their best player out. Now, credit Phelps, who stepped up big time.
Oh, he had a great game, man.
But you gave that game away because you allowed A&M to take full advantage of all those 18 turnovers is an ungodly amount of turnovers, but the more ungodly stats that they turned that into 30 points. 10 turnovers in the second half turned into 24 points. There's your ball game right there. So credit A&M, but my God, Oklahoma, that was miserable.
Yeah, it was. And I know a lot of OU fans are upset today or throwing their hands up and saying, see, I told you. Same old crap from OU basketball. Knew it was going to happen. And that's why, yesterday, was it a must-win game? Was it a not? Was it must-win? Was it not? I guess the future would kind of tell us that. I don't know. It feels pretty bad in the moment. But it felt like a very massive game just in terms of the overall psyche from the fans and just kind of where the fans are at this season. Because to have that home loss right after the tough loss on the road to Alabama where you gave up 107, rightfully so, a lot of people are frustrated today. And I get it. I'm one of those, trust me.
And it's not as if there wasn't reason to feel like this was something different than it was a season ago, because your wins in the non-con this year look a lot better. Your resume to this point in time compared to what it was last year looks so much better because you've got wins over ranked Michigan, a win over ranked Arizona. Louisville's better than it has been in recent years. And you beat all those teams. You beat Providence. You've got good wins on your docket, and you gave the fans a little bit of hope. You weren't going to beat Alabama on the road. That wasn't going to happen. But down their best scorer and up 18 with 16 to go, got to close that
Gotta close,
out.
man. Gotta hit the 1-1. Hit a 1-1 down the stretch, man, and you're in a great spot to win that game, potentially. Or at least it goes in overtime. But there's just they did so many things well, especially in the first half, and for what, the beginning of the second half as well. But that's what's frustrating is they didn't close out again. And that's been some frustrations now for the past few years in close games, is that not only do you not score, you're not getting good looks. You're not having great possessions. And I think that was a very much here we go again type of feeling down the stretch. So they got to figure out a way to do a better job closing out games. No doubt, man.
What is it with Oklahoma coaches and late game situations recently?
I don't know. Patty Gasso's teams are pretty good in late game situations.
You are right about that. Florida Sooner on the text line. This is a great point. All home games are a must win. Amen. Because
you got to defend your home court.
I mean, right now with the way Georgia's playing, that's not a gimme game down there in Athens. They just beat Kentucky.
CJ Sooner in Florida. Grayson, that Yankee hat is ugly. Take that off, bro.
Nope, because my hair underneath it is even uglier.
You a Yankee fan?
I am a Yankees fan.
Grew up in DFW. Yankee fan.
First baseball team I ever watched.
Nice. Go Braves, by the way. If you want a Braves hat, just let me know.
I like the Braves.
We'll set that up for you.
That's my team in MLB The Show.
Krabby Sooner says the flip side of last night is if Goodine doesn't go on that heater, then we probably get destroyed. That somewhat came out of nowhere, and is he going to be able to do that in the future? Hey, if somehow you could tell me, like, hey, I know you're hurting right now, pal. I know that loss did a number on you last night, but what you got from Bryson Goodine, though we've never seen it before in his career necessarily with the 34 points, that is going to be way more of irregularity moving forward. That would make me feel better if someone could tell me that right now. But I don't think that you can count on moving forward that Bryson Goodine is going to have that. I'll be on that much of a heater from 3-point range and have 30+ points night in and night out.
But if he can give you an approximation of that,
sure,
you've got a really good weapon off the bench.
No doubt, man. No doubt. See, look at the positives here after last night, huh? Love that. 405 Taylor says, hell yeah, Grayson. Knew you were the best on KREF already. Go Yankees. So the Yankees fans are coming out in support.
I did not know there were Yankees fans in Oklahoma. What
do you mean? There's Yankees fans everywhere. Everywhere. Every state, there's Yankees fans all over the place.
I guess.
Worldwide brand, man. Yeah, one of the most popular logos in all of sports. 405-651-3439. It's snowing. Boy, man, it's snowing across the state of Oklahoma. Hope all of you out there, if you have to get on the roads, you arrived at your destination safely today, and you will leave your workplace and arrive home safe as well. But roads were a little tricky for me getting from OKC to Norman today.
Oh, yeah.
Fascinated how it's going to be at 6 p.m. later tonight, going from Norman to OKC. Fingers crossed. I say a prayer for you guys. maybe you'll say a prayer for me getting back home tonight.
I'll be thinking about you for sure.
And getting back to work tomorrow morning for sure. Big news in college football. This broke about 30 minutes ago. Carson Beck, who had initially declared for the NFL draft. Now, Carson Beck declared for the NFL draft, and there was at least one. Was it McShay? I can't remember if it was McShay or Kuiper who it was saying, "Yeah, that's a mistake. It's a mistake for Carson Beck."
He called it foolish.
Foolish. Which, by the way, like two draft eligible quarterbacks that have played in the college football playoff. Like, the thought of them going into the draft, you have major draft guys coming out and saying, yeah, that'd be foolish if this guy goes to the draft. Yeah, it wouldn't be very smart if this guy goes to the draft. Carson Beck and Quinn Ewers. Now Carson Beck, who initially declared for the draft, is reportedly going to enter into the transfer portal. So this is fascinating. The immediate thought from some people is that he'll go to Miami. Okay, that makes sense. Miami, try to get John Mateer.
Yeah.
Try to pay him a lot of money. Miami needs a quarterback. Cam Ward is about to go very high in the NFL draft. Miami could pay Carson Beck a lot of money. Carson Beck is dating one of the Cavendish sisters who are they still playing basketball at Miami, by the way?
I don't know how
they left, and I think they came back, something like that.
Yeah, one went to TCU, I think, but yes, they're both playing for Miami.
So it seems that Miami is probably viewed as the front runner right now, definitely in the mix. Two other teams that have been thrown out. Texas Tech for Carson Beck, okay. And then Ohio State as maybe the three main teams for Carson Beck up to this point. Texas Tech. But you know what that screams to me? Yeah, we're willing to pay him a lot of money.
They've already been on a spending spree this offseason anyway, but why leave Georgia? It's not as if he's going to be competing with anybody. I mean, he's better than the Stockton kid, and Jaden Rashada went back into the portal. So why leave? That boggles my mind too. But I mean, you look at both him and Jalen Milroe, both of whom we thought were surefire first-round picks coming into the year. Boy, that ended so fast as it pertained to them. If I'm Carson Beck, I'm coming back to Georgia.
Yeah, but is he looking at this as a business decision? You know, is he looking at this as, okay, like, I could go back to Georgia, and I don't know what Georgia thinks. Maybe they've seen Gunnar Stockton. Not that Gunnar Stockton was just incredible, but maybe they've seen Gunnar Stockton now, and they're saying, you know what, we want to move forward with this guy, or we want to move forward with what we have at the quarterback position here. Because, frankly, Carson Beck wasn't terrible, but he wasn't. He did not have the year that everyone expected. He was like preseason Heisman favorite, right? And he didn't live up to those expectations. I don't know what Georgia thought, but if I had to guess, Grayson, that Carson Beck would make more money at a Miami, at Ohio State, Texas Tech, than he would coming back to Georgia. And maybe that's what's really fueling this decision on whether to come back to Georgia or whether to go elsewhere.
And that may be true, but what's Miami going to have around him? I know Miami's got the NIL coffers to reload, but they're losing McCormick, the tight end. They're losing Restrepo, the wide receiver. He's probably going to go to the draft too. What are they going to do to reload around him where we know Georgia's going to reload? They reload just as well as Alabama and Ohio State and Michigan do. And plus, Georgia's got NIL money too. They can give him money, and it's not as if
if they really wanted to match whatever Miami and Ohio State or Texas thrown out, they could.
They could throw out.
But do they want to?
They could throw out $3 million to him. I agree with you. This looks like a situation where they've said, "Look, we're ready to move on. We've had our run with you. You got us." Did he win a natty? I think, yeah, he did win a natty.
Well, I mean, he was on the team, but Stetson Bennett is who won two national championships.
Okay, I mean, they've had success with him though. I guess they want to move on with him, but I don't get this. I really don't.
Fascinating decision coming up for Georgia. If Ohio State gets him, I think that's very interesting for whatever reasons. And hey, I've worn my Miami hates on my sleeve.
Yeah, you have.
Essentially since the day that I walked through the door here. I've hated Miami since I was a kid, and that hate has not – I mean, I hate them the same today as I did in the early 2000s. There's nothing, I don't know, man. Like, Miami is just not interesting to me at all in kind of the scope of college football these days. I hate them. I don't want them to win. I love it when they lose. It's really funny to me when people are talking about them making the playoff and they ultimately lose. Where they lose at Syracuse late in the year to knock themselves out of the playoff this year. But, man, there's a lot of teams that I hate, and I'll hate watch them, man. I'll hate watch it, and I'll sit around the TV like, God, I can't stand these guys. I don't find myself watching that much Miami, even though I really can't stand them. So Carson Beck going to Miami, just as a college football fan, I don't think it's going to draw a lot of attention for me, for Miami.
And to that point, is there a team that is more disinteresting but always has one or two interesting names surrounding it? Whether it's Manny Diaz or Cam Ward this year, or they always have some story with them, but lately they aren't interesting. I agree with you. I don't think this is going to bring more people to TVs either if Carson Beck ends up there.
It's not like, Miami is playing a home game and Florida State is really good if nothing else. Oh my gosh, those Miami fans, can you imagine? I can't wait to see the atmosphere that Miami has for this home game at Hard Rock Stadium or whatever their stadium name is now that changes every 2 years, it feels like.
Yeah.
Like the Miami fan base is like non-existent. There's nothing there.
Because Miami's like the situation that USC is going through. There's too much to do there. And if your team isn't knocking their socks off in terms of, man, we have to get here because this is a top 5 team, nobody gives a rip. And guess what? I wouldn't either because I'd be doing Miami things in Miami.
Cocaine? Is that what you're saying?
Okay, not that.
That's what I think about when I hear Miami things. I don't know if that's what anyone else thought.
I played myself into that one.
Man, Adam from Austin, is Mateer still the number 1 quarterback with Beck entering? Would he be if Quinn Ewers does too? Oh, that's a good question.
That is a really good question.
I'm going to say that John Mateer would still be the number 1 quarterback if Beck and Ewers both enter in the transfer portal.
He for sure had a better season than Beck, and I think it's a pick-em between, in terms of their seasons, it's a pick-em between him and Quinn. Yeah, I can go with number 1, yeah.
Not a lot of – I mean, not everyone, but I think there's a good amount of people that are saying, Quinn Ewers, I mean, he's not bad. He's just fine. He's got to have a big mistake every single game, that's for sure.
For them to win tomorrow night, I think Quinn has to have a really good game.
He's going to have arguably the best game of maybe the best game of his career.
I agree.
At Texas.
I agree.
And with the pass rush that Ohio State is getting right now, I don't know. I like Ohio State a lot tomorrow. It scares me how much I want Ohio State to win this game tomorrow. It scares me how much I like them to win this game. I'm going in tomorrow night with a lot of nerves, man. Can't be having Texas play for a national championship.
Yeah, and Texas, to me, especially after that Arizona State game, when I watched them, I think of the Kansas City Chiefs in the NFL. Really great play caller, and just a team that sometimes can get a little bit undisciplined, sometimes can play down to a team, but they just find a way to win. And that's how they're going to have to win this game tomorrow. They're going to have to find a way to win it late in the fourth quarter.
405-651-3439, Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. OU has another edition via the transfer portal. We'll tell you who it is, what to expect. Coming up next right here on The Ref. Hornsdown Apple Pie Liquor is not your grandma's apple pie unless your grandma was a moonshiner with a PhD in flavor. This all-natural, 6-time distilled spirit is sure to light up any party, tailgate, or special occasion. Whether toasting a touchdown or yelling at the Yums because Spike was safe, Hornsdown Apple Pie is the perfect drink for celebrating the highs and lows of life in Oklahoma. Hornsdown celebrates all of you who cheer from the berm, tailgate, on Lindsay Street, and wreak havoc on social media. You can find our red bottle at your local liquor store or search for your closest location at drinkhornsdown.com.
Luxury interior, and of course, the available world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate. GMC Sierra. Not just any truck, the truck. GMC's continued commitment to professional-grade engineering is on full display at your Oklahoma GMC dealers. Come take a test drive today and see for yourself. We are professional-grade GMC.
When students struggle because they are hungry,
or fall behind because they lack school supplies,
a caring adult can make all the difference.
especially someone from the community,
Someone who knows the students.
and the obstacles they might be facing.
At Communities in Schools, our site coordinators surround students with a community of support.
To ensure that they have everything they need to engage in learning.
We go all in for kids, all day, every day.
To learn more, visit communitiesinschools.org.
Every day, we rise, challenging ourselves to work for what we believe in. At U.S. Border Patrol, protecting our borders is more than a job. It's a calling. Agents answer the call, working together to keep our country and communities safe. If you're ready for a new mission, join U.S. Border Patrol and go beyond. Learn more at cbp.gov/careers/Border Patrol.
Dear hero, whoever you are, you save lives. I live with sickle cell and the pain and the issues that come along with sickle cell every day. I'm most grateful that people are willing to go out there and take their time, their blood, and give me new life. Because of you, I'm allowed to see my son grow up.
Giving equals living. Give blood. Replenish the supply. Learn more at hhs.gov/giveblood. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
My daughter was diagnosed with a rare malignant rhabdoid tumor on the spine. They sent her straight to St. Jude. My hope was gone. But when you get there, everyone's like, hey, we're not going to give up. And when you see other people not giving up on your child, that makes all the difference in the world. When I found out I didn't have to pay, I was just grateful they saved my baby's life.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
My name is Ariel. I moved to the U.S. at 19. I spoke no English and I struggled finding job opportunities. Everything I have, I owe to the Adult Literacy Center and getting my high school diploma at age 22.
It was an honor helping you achieve your greatness. Now you're helping others achieve theirs. It inspires me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Find free and supportive adult education centers near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Did the recent storms damage your home and roof? Call All American Roofing today. All American Roofing has been repairing and replacing roofs for over 40 years and is a second-generation locally owned roofing company. They are also a Google guaranteed contractor and offer free inspections. Our roofers are GAF Master Elite contractors with a BBB A+ rating. Call All American Roofing today at 405-787-0400. All American Roofing, the best roofing company in Oklahoma. 405-787-0400.
Dreaming of your own backyard oasis? Be the envy of your neighborhood and let Signature Custom Pools help you create the perfect poolside paradise. Their professional design expertise can transport you into your own Mystic Falls, suburban sanctuary, or Mediterranean retreat. Settle into an endless vacation, entertain your family, friends, and get the signature touch with Signature Custom Pools. Call them for a free consultation at 405-898-9098 or visit them online at signaturecustompools.com today.
Locked in with McComas and Singleton today. That's right, Tyler and Grayson. No Parker today or tomorrow. He is at the Navy All-American Bowl. Ryan Fogier down there. Tristan Haynes down there as well. Ryan Fogier sounds like he's having a pretty good week. Pretty good week of practice down there at the Navy All-American Bowl. That football game is coming up on Saturday. Man, I hated to see this yesterday. This was a bummer. Really good kid. Andy Bass put out a tweet. I'm sure most of you saw it. Take number 2, ACL number 3. I will be back. Andy Bass, had another ACL injury during bowl practice back in December. Stinks, man.
That's
good kid,
terrible.
Talented kid, and just hasn't gotten a fair shot at it. I mean, what's fair, right, with injuries, but he just been unable to stay healthy since he got here, and I hope that that's not the story of his career, and I'm hoping that he can bounce back here pretty soon after this next injury. Hopefully that happens.
I mean, you're talking about where you've gone through this with Caden Helm too, the last couple of years. So I mean, hopefully this is the end of the road in terms of injury. So get well, heal up, man.
Sooner 287 saying, showing you his baseball
Whoa.
memorabilia collection. About 600 items in it, 75% Yankee stuff.
Whoa.
Mickey Mantle signed baseballs. A-Rod signed baseballs. Joe DiMaggio signed baseball. Jeez.
Ted Williams, Randy Johnson, Derek Jeter. Man,
Where's the Chipper Jones stuff? Sooner 287, huh?
This is incredible.
Got a Ronald Acuna jersey in there, I see. Very nice. Okay, that's very acceptable. OU gets an ad at tight ends. Louisiana Tech tight end John Locke. PWO.
Yep.
Preferred walk-on, and I think that we brought up John Locke a couple of weeks ago when he first tweeted out that he had an OU offer, which sent social media into a panic. Like, really? This guy has 3 receptions for 6 yards, and that's what we're going with next at tight end? I'm not going to be overly upset about this one like some people are. Again, this was a preferred walk-on situation with the former Louisiana Tech tight end John Locke. But at the same time, my thoughts about OU's tight end situation remain the same. I'm not going to get overly upset about this one, Grayson, but if I'm identifying a position today on this team that I am most concerned with for next year, I don't know what would be in the same category as tight end for me, for OU in 2025.
No, there's tight end, and then there's a big gap between that and whoever is in second place, whichever one you want to slide up in there. But, give me bodies. Just give me guys who we can develop. And it's a preferred walk-on situation. He's not taking up a scholarship spot, one of the, 85 that you have.
2 years left for John Locke.
2 years left, raw talent. Go ahead and get him in the system. I mean, one of the reasons you are concerned about the tight end group is because the tight end coach remained the same. I think that's really adds to the point of concern. But no, this doesn't move me either way. This doesn't make me want to jump off the rooftops and happily or jump off the rooftops to my death. So it's a good ad.
Best case scenario for tight end. Well, I think it's more than this. Best case scenario for tight end is the 2 tight ends that you brought in, one from Kennesaw State and one from Pitt State, actually turn out to be really good players this year. But how about the realistic best case scenario for tight end next year? Is that Devon Mitchell's a dude? If you want to cling to any hope right now at tight end that this position can be okay, right? Decent. I mean, you have to start with Devon Mitchell. Maybe Caden Helms, once he's healthy, he can do some things as well, but really more so that a lot of times when you've had a rough year at a position, well, how do you look at the future? Well, you'll grasp hope by the new players that you brought in at that position if the position wasn't very good the year before. I don't think that you're doing this in this scenario with OU's tight ends. If you want to look at any hope whatsoever, you're actually looking at 2 of the guys that are returning this year.
Yes.
Being Devon Mitchell for sure, and then Caden Helms along with that as well.
If you can get solid production from them, I think that's a good start. Now, also keep this in mind too. If they can just be solid blockers in the run game, you're already off to a better start than you were last year.
100%.
Where the tight ends could not block. So I think Oklahoma can, sure, you want a guy that can own the middle of the field, but I think Oklahoma has gotten some of that with the receivers that they brought in from the portal. So I'm not looking for gaudy numbers here. Can you be an effective guy in the red zone, and can you be an effective guy on the edge blocking?
Sure. You don't need the tight end to be the leading receiver.
Everyone
was pissed when the tight end was the leading receiver this year, right?
We don't need – damn, I forgot that happened. We don't need Mark Andrews. You don't need a guy to be Mark Andrews. Sure, it would be fantastic.
Nice.
It would be fantastic, but that's not – you don't need that this coming year. I don't think so.
No, no, you don't. You just need him to be consistent, man. You need to be just solid. And, the part that you brought up about just being a consistent blocker, yeah, man, I'll take that. If nothing else, and that's what I said about Carson Kent initially when they got him from Kennesaw State. Everyone was very upset that, are you serious? The offense that we were making fun of this last year, you got the tight end from there, Carson Kent. I don't expect a world, because I don't think it's realistic, that Carson Kent has some gaudy offensive numbers from the tight end spot. but he's 6'4", 240. Maybe he can help you out in the run game. So I think what you're hoping for is the production at tight end in terms of the pass game come from a guy like Devon Mitchell, and hopefully a Carson Kent or someone else. They'll get snaps, but it's more of, hey, we're going to put you in this situation, and whether it's an extra body to help out with pass coverage or in the run game, whatever, that's where your role is going to be. But even with all that, like trying to make, I don't know if we're trying to make anyone feel better about it, but painting the positive of it, it's still going to be my biggest question mark on the team going into the year.
And take this into account too. How much better would Jackson Arnold and Michael Hawkins have looked at times if you had tight ends that could be reliable pass protectors too? Maybe even could they just chip competently? I think you get maybe a few less turnovers. Maybe that's South Carolina. Now, maybe you're still not wanting to block Dylan Stewart and Kyle Kennard with tight ends.
That was what I was about to say. Like, let's not roll that one.
But it could have looked a little bit different. Maybe not that game, but at other times, if you had guys who were reliable in the pass blocking game. So it may not still show up in the stat sheet, but if you keep an eye on it, it could look a lot better.
Glenn from Nashville says, I'm hoping that Caden Helms will find the field more now that his podcast buddy is gone. Because when he did find the field this season, he made some good catches that were not terribly easy to make and looked decent doing it. He also has good size.
Yeah, I agree. Get that guy on the field, and I hope he's healthy. Who was his podcast buddy, by the way?
Nick Anderson was his podcast buddy. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
405, the best hope for tight end next year is 0 interceptions. Hey, if Ben Arbuckle does nothing else, if all he does as an improvement next year is to not run trick plays with the tight end next year, the offense will be an improvement in 2025.
That's a pretty good. It's a pretty good start.
The interception at LSU was really like, oh my gosh, we just keep doing it. It's not been working all year, and they keep trying it. They keep doing it.
Why?
Slim Brady says, feels like more people are confident about the O-line than me because that group still worries me quite a bit also. Oh, yeah. I mean, I was just saying tight end is my biggest concern right now on the team moving forward. If you want to extend that out into, the top 3 position groups, like you clearly have some bodies coming back on the offensive line from this last year. And what are we going to say all offseason? Well, if they stay healthy this time around, if they can establish some continuity, if you can have the same starting 5 for multiple games, especially to start the year, they'll have a chance. But, yeah, would the offensive line today be considered a question mark for next year? Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, but
no doubt.
Derek Simmons coming over from Western Carolina is going to help a lot. I think he's a good player with a lot of experience that's gotten a lot of snaps. Michael Fasusi might factor into this too.
Oh, I mean, he's going to factor in somehow. I don't know if he's going to start day 1.
He may not start day 1, but let's just say you've got an injury to a tackle, be it Jacob Sexton or Derek Simmons, in week 4 or 5. You'll feel comfortable throwing Michael Fasusi in there by that point, and it'll generate a lot of excitement. Let's see what it'll do. It'll be excitement that tops even when EPL got in there this year.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it's the first time. Was it the first time in a long time where I could remember where people were really, really jacked up about in the middle of the game? Oh, yeah, here he comes in at offensive line. Let's go. We're about to see some fireworks here. We're about to see some exciting football. We got our young offensive lineman in the game. Normally that happens when you put a running back or a quarterback or a wide receiver tight ends.
Yeah.
Not sure if I've ever seen that before at OU before where it's, all right, we got this young O-lineman in there. He's going to make something happen. Let's go. But, hey, he is exciting to watch. He was exciting to watch. That's for sure. Sooner Soldier, Grayson's voice reminds me of Paul Thompson's. You have a perfect radio voice.
Remind me who Paul Thompson was.
Oh, remind you who Paul Thompson was. Paul Thompson came in to Oklahoma as a quarterback. Leander, Texas, I believe, is where Paul Thompson hailed from. And he was a backup quarterback, 2003. Definitely a dual threat type of guy. Backed up Jay White in 03 and 04. He moved to tight end, moved to wide receiver at one point in his career, Grayson. So he's a program guy already. Quarterback, and now I'm going to move to wide receiver, and I'm going to make an impact.
Okay.
Well, Rhett Bomar got in trouble after the 2005 season, got kicked off the team, Paul Thompson played wide receiver in 2005. Paul Thompson moved back to quarterback in the 2006 season, was OU starting quarterback in 2006. I should go back a little bit. Paul Thompson was the starting quarterback in 2005 for the 05 season, and then he was eventually replaced. It didn't take very long. Rhett Bomar ended up taking over. So Paul Thompson switched to wide receiver. I'm going to help out the team there. Rhett Bomar got in trouble. Paul Thompson came back to quarterback for the 06 season, and guess what he did? He led the Sooners to the 2006 Big 12 championship.
Yes. Okay.
The Malcolm Kelly rap that you're familiar with?
Yes.
That Paul Thompson was throwing him the football that night in Kansas City.
Okay.
So, hey, all that to say, if the comparison that someone's willing to give to you is Paul Thompson,
I will take it.
One of my favorite OU football players of all time. Big-time Paul Thompson fan. 303. Stop it, Tyler. Dang it. Cheering on the O-lineman. Mind it. The O-line makes the train run, and the D-line is the caboose pushing the back ends. I guess you don't like when cheering on the offensive lineman? Is that what
we're
saying
We're
here?
trying to be positive here. Look, it can't get worse than it was last year, and there's reason to believe it will be better this year.
Well, I'm just saying I was just saying that it was exciting when EPL got in.
Oh,
more
yeah.
than anything.
Well, that was
I literally just mentioned
fun.
before that it's definitely an absolute question mark going into this season.
Yeah.
Paul Thompson is the greatest team player, says a texter from the 405. Adam from Austin says, I live in Leander. Paul was a stud. 405, last week, Parker Thune said he would be, quote, shocked if Fasusi was not redshirted this year. I mean, that may happen, but I think Fasusi's got a chance to – I think he's got a chance to play and maybe play quite a bit this year.
Yeah.
Not a guarantee, and obviously that could be affected by, what happens at certain positions as we go throughout the year. Maybe Derek Simmons comes in and he's an absolute dude, right? Maybe you find 2 tackles this year that are really good and you don't need Michael Fasusi this year. But there could be a situation after what we've seen recently from the O-line where you need a Michael Fasusi and he plays a lot. Plus, I think he's really good.
I do think they'll come into the season not wanting him to play more than 4 games.
I mean, maybe. I mean, if he's that good and just ready to hit the ground, and if he can help you win from day one in a year like this, in a critical year like this, Duke can play and help you win. I don't think that they would be just, we have to redshirt this guy. We have to redshirt this guy. If he can play and help you out, I think that he'll play a lot.
Yeah, I think so too.
PT throwing that ball in humming. Nice job, guys. Nice job on the text line. Everyone here knows the Malcolm Kelly rap.
Mm-hmm.
Very impressed. But
so that's who PT was. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
okay, gotcha.
Yeah. 405-651-3439. You're welcome for the history lesson today,
hey,
by the way.
I try to
need to know anything else from the 06 season? I got you, pal.
I try to make sure I'm up on my history, but every once in a while something slips through the cracks.
Final segment of Locked In coming up next, right here on the Ref.
Hornsdown Apple Pie Liquor is not your grandma's apple pie unless your grandma was a moonshiner with a PhD in flavor. This all-natural 6-time distilled spirit is sure to light up any party, tailgate, or special occasion. Whether toasting a touchdown or yelling at the umps because Spike was safe, Hornsdown Apple Pie is the perfect drink for celebrating the highs and lows of life in Oklahoma. Hornsdown celebrates all of you who cheer from the berm, tailgate, on Lindsay Street, and wreak havoc on social media. You can find our red bottle at your local liquor store or search for your closest location at drinkhornsdown.com.
Back to 1947. We'll see you at the Mont on the corner of Boyd and Classen, or call us at 329-3330.
Life is full of big moments, and at OU Federal Credit Union, they are happy to help you make those moments happen. Thinking of buying a home? OUFCU offers mortgage loans with competitive rates and flexible terms. If you already own a home, their home equity loans can help you make those much-needed renovations or pay off high-interest debt. But it's not about the loans, it's about the people. Ready to make the next step toward your dreams? Visit OU Federal Credit Union today. Your home sweet loan is just around the corner. Member savings insured up to $250,000 by NCUA.
Hi, this is Lisa Talley, broker and owner of Aria Real Estate Group. Aria Real Estate Group is Norman's premier full-service commercial and residential real estate brokerage and leasing and management firm. With our team of real estate agents, specialized property managers, and in-house maintenance team, Aria is here for you in every capacity. Whether you're a seller, a buyer, an investor, or a renter, we can help. Please explore our website at ariagroupok.com. Aria Real Estate Group, the gold standard of real estate.
Hey, life doesn't stop when cancer starts. After diagnosis, treatment is vital. But for some, just getting there, to appointments, chemo, or radiation, is a major challenge. You can change that. Volunteer to give rides with the American Cancer Society Road to Recovery program. Driving for a few hours of your day can make a life-saving difference for someone with cancer. Visit cancer.org/drive to learn more.
Now. We tend not to think about now. We dream about tomorrow, relive yesterday. But right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. Victory over cancer is there for the taking by you, because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory. Learn more at v.org.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
It's been said that when someone you love has Parkinson's, you have Parkinson's.
The Parkinson's Foundation knows that the disease doesn't just affect the diagnosed. It affects everyone who supports and helps care for them.
If you have questions, the Parkinson's Foundation has answers.
We can help you understand the disease
and give you tips for living a better life.
Find your answers at parkinson.org or call 1-800-473-4636. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
Hey drivers, it's Ryan Blaney, your 2023 NASCAR Cup Series champion and driver of the number 12 Discount Tire Ford Mustang. Do you know one of the most important things that helps keep my car going on the track? Tire pressure. Keeping your tires properly inflated is crucial for safe stopping power and better gas mileage. Check your tire pressure at least once a month or stop by a local tire retailer for an air check.
A message from the U.S. Tire Manufacturers Association.
The six-time national champion Oklahoma women's gymnastics team begins their first season in the Ultimate Gymnastics Conference in 2025. It's the best show in town, fit for the entire family, and tickets start at just $65 for the 5 home meets against Missouri, Arkansas, Kentucky, Florida, and Michigan. Friday night heights at the Lloyd Noble Center are just weeks away, so don't wait. Visit Soonersports.com/tickets to lock in your season tickets today. Boomer Sooner.
Dorsey Jones, Buick GMC in El Reno. Brady this hour have locked in with McComas and Singleton today. Dorsey Jones is family-owned and operated, established in 2020. Many of their employees have been there for more than 20 years. They sell Buicks and GMCs, which are some of the best trucks and SUVs on the road. That's Dorsey Jones, Buick GMC in El Reno. Still waiting on Jeff Robertson, OU in it with Arizona and Minnesota, for the former Oklahoma State backer who played a lot of ball last year. And there's still a lot of predictions in for Robertson to end up at Oklahoma. I haven't seen any new ones for Arizona or Minnesota or anyone like that, but you know what their pitch probably is to him right now. Like, hey, you gonna start?
You're probably gonna get more PT.
You're gonna be a starter here. You may be our best linebacker if you come play here.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that pitch resonates or not, because this is what Robertson's final year of eligibility, correct?
Yes.
He's got 1 year, and he was productive there at Oklahoma State. I know that their defense was not great, but I do think if he does eventually pick OU, he'd be a very nice depth piece, that has played a good amount of college football. Like that's we're not going to be saying that OU's a portal winner because they got him. But it's kind of one of those under the radar, like you need some depth at linebacker right now. Now that Lewis Carter left, it'd be a good ad in my mind, Grayson, if it happens.
Not only a good depth rotational piece for defense, but he's a really good special teams player too. Mm-hmm. He would relish that role and really take pride in it. So no, he's gonna be a good player if OU's able to close the deal on him.
One-star Jay in Tulsa says, guys, red shirts aren't an option for anyone that can help win games. Hell, additional eligibility just makes players more valuable on the open market as well. Play them while you got them. And this goes back to the Michael Fasusi conversation that we had last segment. And here's how I view Michael Fasusi. If he's the player that we think he is, or he's the player that's rated as a 5-star, probably not going to be here for 4 years.
Oh,
No.
no.
At a premium position that he's at. So again, like if he's good, if you feel comfortable playing him in the SEC next year, if he looks like one of your best offensive linemen in a year that's as important as next year is, I don't think OU would hesitate 1 minute to play Michael Fasusi more than 4 games and not worry about that red shirt. It's too important of a year next year.
Especially if there's an injury or somebody's not playing well and there's clamoring for people to get him on the field. Especially if he can help you win. I mean, I know I'm echoing everything you're saying, but what you're saying is spot on. You can't just keep a guy on the bench, especially when you know that he's not going to be in college for longer than 3 years. You can't keep him on the bench just for the purpose of, well, we want to redshirt him. The hell with that. Get him on the field. Because if he believes that he could have helped the team win and you kept him on the bench just for the sole purpose of redshirting him, who's to say he's not up out of there in the portal if that's the direction you want to go in? That's a bad play.
Well, and like if you look at it, like I guess realistic. I think by year 2, he's going to be looked at as, hey, now, like however much he played year 1, now year 2 he's a starter, man.
Yes.
Like, he is your guy there at left tackle. So use this year. I mean, if he ends up being your best tackle, we'll play him as much as you want. But this is a big developmental year for him too, to get ready for that second year. So we'll see what happens at offensive line. A lot of things can happen, but if Fasusi's a dude, then I say I'm not overly concerned with the red shirt, because again, he could be so good where that red shirt year isn't going to end up mattering because he's out after 3 years and he's off to the NFL.
It'll end up being a situation like what Texas has with Kelvin Banks. He didn't play his freshman year. That sophomore year really popped, and he came into this year. We're thinking he's the first or second best tackle going into the NFL along with Will Campbell at LSU. And now he pops even more. That's the trajectory that Michael Fasusi's on.
Man, the Paul Thompson discussion, Paul Thompson story time, man, it relives a pretty tough memory. 1-star Sam in Edmond. If not for the biggest screw job ever, Paul Thompson would have played for a national championship. Yeah. If OU doesn't get screwed on the road at Oregon in week 3 of 2006.
Yeah.
OU finishes the regular season a 1-loss conference champ, and maybe they play Florida in 2006 for the national championship instead of they play Ohio State, sorry.
Yes.
Florida lost that one game to Auburn that year.
Yes.
I don't know if OU would have gotten in over Florida, but I guess you never know.
Florida was running a 2-quarterback system that year too.
That was old Teeb's freshman year there.
with Chris Leak.
Gator heavy system. Florida Sooner says in today's college football system, every player has to be looked at as a 1-year player. You can't worry about redshirting somebody so they can go somewhere else for 4 years.
1,000% agree.
Yeah.
Play your best guys if they can help you win.
Yeah. 303, screw Oregon. Still remember where I was at for that game.
I don't. I was 4.
Well, God bless you for being young. Normally, like ever since I've been here, like I've been kind of maybe not the youngest guy, but definitely on the younger side of employees here. But working with you has made me feel like the old guy, if not at least for an hour. I got you and Connor in here right now, so.
Oh, man.
Sit around, guys. Let me tell you about the 2006 season. Well, you guys weren't even 5.
You were doing a show for years with Parker, though, and Parker's a decent amount younger than you, right?
Yes, I haven't always been the youngest guy, but something about, I don't really remember that 2006 OU Oregon game. I'm like, man. All right, guys. All right. Well, we'll go through the OU history book someday together. Teach you all about this place. You got Penn State tonight over Notre Dame. Why are you going with the Nittany Lions?
If it comes down to which quarterback's got to get his team down the field in a late game situation, I'm going to go with Drew Aller over Riley Leonard. I think both of these teams are similar. Both can play with the lead very well. Hard-nosed, nasty defense. But if the quarterback is going to be the tipping point, give me the way Drew Aller's played over Riley Leonard. So I've got them like 19-16.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just – again, I'm uncomfortably confident in Ohio State tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Not just winning the game, but maybe winning the game by a couple of scores. I'm uncomfortably confident about Notre Dame as well winning this game. I think And the betting line, the way that it's changing, it was at Notre Dame -1. It looks like it's Notre Dame -1.5, so maybe some late money coming in on the Irish. I think Notre Dame's going to win this game by like 10 points, like 23-13. I think it's going to be a close game, but one of those where Notre Dame really pushes it to 2 scores late. Give me Notre Dame by 10 tonight.
Well, I'm looking at ESPN Bet right now.
It says off.
The spread's even right now, and if you want to go money line, the money line is Penn State -110. So Penn State on ESPN Bet is the favorite right now.
Interesting. I'm on Scores and Odds, and it says Notre Dame -1.5 there. But ESPN has their own sports book. So, but that is interesting that's that big of a discrepancy between a couple of sports books that are out there. Texture from the state of California just says, "Aloha, brother." Aloha to you.
Aloha to you too.
And I hope that you're safe out there. You got a California number. If you got a home in the state of California, and everyone else who's out there or who has family out there as well, that is just an awful situation.
Hope
thoughts
and
prayers. Seriously, thoughts and prayers to everyone out there, whether you yourself, your family, friends, whatever, is going through that right now. That's tough, man. Very, very tough. Very tough. 405-651-3439 is the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. Ryan Fogier down at the Navy All-American Bowl. Again, that game is coming up on Saturday. And he's definitely not a forgotten name because we spent our due diligence talking about Ryan Fogier, but everyone's talking about Michael Fasusi, and rightfully so. I wonder if there is a world where, no, Ryan Fogier doesn't start 8 games next year or anything like that, but could we be talking about more than one true freshman offensive line maybe making a dent for this offensive line next year? Because, Ryan Fogier is really good. He doesn't have I don't think that he necessarily has the ceiling that Fasusi does. Few do. But I would say that Ryan Fogier definitely has an opportunity to be a very good offensive lineman at Oklahoma.
I would not rule it out. The fact that he's looked really good, and then Michael Fasusi at that camp last week was the MVP. Man, if this staff survives 2025, the offensive line in 2026 has 2 anchors already in tow. The same texture in California. My family's all safe. They hid a bottle of Horns Down Fine Spirits.
They hid in a bottle of Horns Down Fine Spirits, or they hid a bottle of Horns Down
guess
Fine
that's
Spirits?
Hid a bottle of Fine Spirits. I first thought he said hit a bottle of Horns Down, which, look, if that's your way to get through a wildfire,
hey,
more power to you.
Yeah, 100%. Don't try. I don't know, putting out the wildfire with Horns Down apple pie would work out well.
Don't try that.
But Horns Down apple pie is delicious.
Yes, it is.
It's fantastic, and it made it to just about every single OU road game this year.
Did it really?
Yeah. Once Dink and Addison came on board, it was like, well, this Horns Down apple pie bottle's going with me. It was was it the Missouri trip or the LSU trip? It was the first thing that I packed. So that tells you where it's at in importance for me, man. No doubt.
Stuff's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. 6:30 on ESPN tonight is Notre Dame and Penn State. Apparently, this could be somewhat of a flu game for Notre Dame. I don't know if you've seen those reports or not, but the flu is made its way into the Notre Dame locker room. Doesn't sound like Riley Leonard is battling the flu. It said like special teams, backup, something like that. But flu has hit Notre Dame a little bit here. We'll see how they deal with it tonight. 6:30 out there in the Orange Bowl. And then the big college football news this hour: Carson Beck will enter into the transfer portal. If you didn't hear us earlier, Miami kind of seemingly the favorite right now. Also, watch out for Ohio State and Texas Tech. Has some names to mention there.
Ohio State's pretty good at reclamation projects. They just did it with Will Howard. Whew. They could replicate that with a more talented Carson Beck. That would really go a long way in making sure people aren't questioning Ryan Day.
Yeah. Like Ohio State, you would think, okay, Will Howard's out the door. That would make sense that they'd pay a lot of money and get Carson Beck.
Yes.
Miami, okay, his girlfriend is down there, and clearly they need a quarterback. Clearly they'll pay for a lot of money. But Texas Tech, that's the odd one. Tech we know they'll throw some cash. No one thought Tech would have been a candidate for Nigeri Kennedy in the college softball transfer portal, but they said here's an offer that you won't be able to turn down. So as surprised as I was to see Texas Tech in the immediate running for Carson Beck, maybe they'll just throw an ungodly amount of money at him and make him say no.
Unless I'm missing some really popular donor, where is Texas Tech getting all this money from?
I don't know if they have one singular donor, but clearly there's some oil money there with their donors.
Would have to be.
Yeah.
They all of a sudden are just like, yeah, we want to be really, really good. And we're just going to make like the New York Yankees and the Mets and just get as many players as money can have us get. And I'm okay with that.
I mean, it's what you can do now, but it doesn't guarantee success.
That's true.
And it certainly doesn't guarantee a national championship. I mean, we'll use one of Texas Tech's very own examples. I don't know how much they had to pay Micah Hudson, 5-star wide receiver, who was a true freshman this last year. But I'm going to guess that they had to pay him a lot of money to come to Lubbock, and he barely even played this year, and now he entered into the transfer portal. So I'm sure they paid a lot of money for him, and they felt good about it at the time. But you pay money to a high school kid, big money. It is far from a guarantee that that's going to pan out.
But at least you're telling everybody, hey, we're trying. And also, you'd have to pay me a lot of money. You'd have to pay me a Lubbock tax to get me to go to Lubbock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt. Jimmy in Edmond says, just met Bob Stoops here at my work in Edmond. He is a very good man. Nice, and was cool to meet him. I yelled boomer to Bob, and he said, yeah, let's do pictures.
That's dope.
Had to share.
Good.
Nice, Jimmy. Bob Stoops will join us coming up at 4:50 today. Can't wait for that as always. The Rush is coming up next. Keep it locked on the ref for the home of Sooner fans.
Football. You love it. We love it. You live it.